name is Joseph Weiss, member of Team 5, composed of Elizabeth Woodward, Jose Valentin, and myself. This is our presentation on our creation of a SQL database to track hypothetical data of a series of disc golf tournaments. This project focused on creating a database to collect and track data about players, tournaments, courses, sponsors, and spectators, as well as other entities, for the Disc Golf Pro Tour, a set of high-level disc golf tournaments for some of the world's best disc golf players. Some of the data we tracked included which discs players used, which players competed in which tournaments, who sponsored players and tournaments, and which tournaments were attended by which spectators. We also tracked players' performance on certain holes, tournaments, and rounds.
So first off, I'm going to cover our discovery phase findings, and for the purpose of this presentation, we chose to focus on two main ones that we thought were really impactful to our overall project's outcome. So first off, we had several many-to-many relationships. Early on in the process, we really kind of debated between whether we were going to have more one-to-one relationships, one-to-many relationships, or many-to-many relationships. And I think ultimately we discovered that we're going to need to have more many-to-many relationships than we originally thought, due to the amount of data that we had to display and how we needed to connect the data in the most efficient way. And our second finding was that we needed bridging tables for a relational database. Early on in the process, we really struggled with how we were going to connect our data in the most efficient way so that we weren't repeating the same values of data over and over again. And once we figured out bridging tables and kind of implemented them in a very consistent way, I think that's where our database really became interconnected and working as one instead of multiple different tables. So next, I'm going to cover our entity relationship diagram. And this ER diagram that you see on the slideshow is our final prototype, but it definitely took many iterations and many trial and error phases to get here. After each assignment, we really tried to take into account the comments and the feedback that we received on our diagram, and then we would go back and alter our diagram to try and make it better and to account for maybe the spots that we missed in previous assignments. And so for our entities, we have score, hole, course, round, player, tournament, disc, sponsor, and spectator. And then we have some of those bridging tables that you see, and some of those are disc player, player sponsor, tournament spectator, and player tournament. And we really at first we struggled with how we were going to connect our tables so that we weren't repeating any of the same data pieces. And then once we started to implement those bridging tables, that's where we really made our ER diagram not only function correctly, but also function very efficiently. And then lastly, with the entities, we just tried to pick the entities that would really represent the game of disc golf best. And we tried to pick out kind of the main characteristics of the game, such as score, hole, and round, and whatnot.
The lessons we learned regarding this project revolve around that of the development process. We went through a lot of trial and error. We wrote down any potential entities and how these entities relate to one another. Then we created an entity relationship diagram to visualize these entities. And that's where we discovered the need for bridging tables when representing many-to-many relationships. Overall, through this project and the segmented nature of this project, we discovered the importance of teamwork and communication. And we also learned that each step builds off the previous. So what seemed like a daunting objective of creating a database for various disc golf tournaments eventually came to fruition, where we were able to help an organization achieve their organizational goals. And we believe that this project gave us good insight onto the development process for databases, in this case using SQL. My name was Jose Valentin on behalf of Team 5, And thank you so much for watching our presentation.